Okay, so you want to learn a new language, right? Maybe English. And immediately you're just hit with this wall of information.
Oh, yeah. Total paralysis.
Exactly. Like, where do you even begin? Do you memorize a dictionary? Study grammar for 6 months straight? It's a lot. And I
Yeah.
think that sheer volume stops so many people cold.
It's daunting. And that feeling, that specific kind of overwhelm is really what we're tackling today.
Right.
We've been digging into this really practical resource called a brief guide, basically designed to, like, shortcut that whole traditional learning
A
hack.
shortcut. Okay, I'm listening.
Yeah, it promises a path, a roadmap, really, from knowing basically nothing to actually speaking, confidently and consistently. Pretty fast, too.
Okay.
So our mission today is to pull out the, let's say, the 6 most crucial, most actionable steps from this guide. Things you can use, like, right now.
We're hunting for those high-impact nuggets. Forget becoming Shakespeare overnight. This is about getting you that minimum viable communication, like functional English.
Exactly. Okay, let's unpack this. The guide kicks off with a really simple idea for step 1. Keep it practical. Focus on what you actually need.
Immediately useful stuff.
Totally. The guide is almost ruthless about vocabulary. Forget words you'll never use. It says, learn the words and phrases for daily life.
Like what specifically?
Greetings, obviously. Family members, food, common verbs you use all the time. The idea is learn a word today, and you should be able to actually use it within, like, the next hour.
Ah, I see. That immediate payoff, that's got to be a huge confidence booster, right? Seeing it work straight away.
It is. Big psychological win. But, just having words isn't enough. You need some way to string them together.
Which brings us to step 2, I guess, the
Yeah.
structure.
Precisely. Building a framework, but, and this is key, with the absolute bare minimum of grammar.
Bare minimum. Okay, now that sounds interesting. Less intimidating.
Yeah, this is where the guide gets pretty radical compared to old school methods. It basically tells you, look, ignore 90% of the complex grammar that just trips beginners up.
So what do they focus on?
Really basic stuff. Pronouns I, you, he, she, it, that level. And then the core structure of simple tenses.
Simple tenses, like present, past, future.
Exactly. They use examples like I go, I went, I will go. That's the backbone.
Why just those? Why so simple?
Because think about it. Those 3 allow you to place things in time. Present action, past event, future plan. That covers like 80% of basics survival communication.
Okay, makes sense.
Yeah. And the guy argues that getting bogged down in, I don't know, the past perfect continuous or something you might use once a week, it just kills your momentum and your confidence early on.
So it's speed and function over perfect accuracy, at least at the start.
Absolutely. Get talking first, refine later. They also mention basics like asking and answering simple questions. What's your name? My name is. That kind of thing.
Right. So, okay, we've got step 1, useful everyday words. Step 2, super simple grammar to make short sentences, like I went store or she eats apple. Basic, but functional.
Exactly. You have your starter kit.
So now you've got this small internal database. How do you grow it and get used to how English actually sounds? Is that step 3?
That's step 3. Daily input.
Yeah.
Soaking it in.
Listening practice.
Yes. And the guide is really clear. It has to be a daily habit. Non-negotiable.
And how do they suggest doing that? Just like turn on the radio.
Well, the methods are kind of what you'd expect: watching English videos, listening to podcasts, pretty standard fare.
Okay.
But here's the kicker, the really important instruction tied to it. It explicitly says, repeat what you hear.
Okay, so not just passive listening, you're actively mimicking.
Exactly. It's linking input directly to your output muscles, basically.
Tell me more about that. Why is repeating so crucial?
Well, the source highlights this dual benefit. First, when you repeat, you're physically training your mouth, your tongue, your vocal cords to make those English sounds. It builds muscle memory.
Right. You can understand a sound perfectly in your head, but your mouth might just refuse to make it correctly without practice.
Precisely.
Yeah.
And second, repeating actively tunes your ear to the rhythm, the intonation, the melody of English. It helps your pronunciation sound more natural, much faster than just listening alone.
So it makes listening practice double as speaking practice in a way.
You got it. You're rehearsing constantly. Even little bits add up.
Okay, that makes a lot of sense. So we've covered building the base and getting input. Now, how do we start actually, generating our own speech? That sounds like the scary part.
It can be.
Yeah.
And that's step 4, active practice.
Yeah.
And yeah, this is vital, especially if you don't have someone to talk to readily available.
Right, the I have no one to practice with problem.
And here's where it gets really interesting. The guide offers these, like, High frequency but low stakes practice methods.
Okay, like what?
Three main things. Speak to yourself, read things aloud,
Mm-hmm.
and if you can, practice with friends.
Be to yourself. Like, just narrate what you're doing.
Yeah. Or describe something you see. It sounds maybe a bit odd, but it's like a rehearsal without an audience. It takes away that massive fear of judgment.
Oh, that's huge. The judgment fear. It stops so many people from even trying. If I'm just talking to my reflection, who cares if I mess up?
Exactly. You focus purely on getting the words out. You hear your own mistakes and can correct them without any social pressure. Reading aloud does something similar for pronunciation and flow.
Okay. And the core advice underpinning all of this practice.
This is maybe the most important single sentence in the whole guide. Don't be afraid of mistakes.
Easier said than done, maybe?
Well, sure, intellectually we know mistakes are okay, but the guide really frames them differently. They aren't failures. They're just data, feedback.
Data points showing you're trying.
Right. Proof you're engaging. They want you aiming for frequency speaking, often not flawlessness. Think about it.
Yeah.
If you wait until you're perfect, you'll literally never speak.
But if you try 10 times a day, even badly.
You're learning 10 times faster than the person waiting for perfection. Simple math.
Okay, that focus on just doing it frequently leads right into step 5, doesn't it? Which is about making English part of your actual day.
Yes. Full daily integration. Taking it out of the study time box and splashing it all over your real life. Immersion on the cheap, basically.
Immersion without the plane ticket. I like it. How?
This is where the rubber meets the road. The guide gives 3 very concrete, non-negotiable steps.
Okay, lay them on me.
1. Change your phone's language setting to English. 2. Write out your daily routine, or maybe your to-do list, in English. 3, and this is maybe the biggest mental shift, to actively try to think in English.
Whoa, okay. Changing the phone language sounds terrifying, but I can see how effective that would be.
It's surprisingly powerful. Suddenly, everyday tasks, checking the weather, dismissing a notification, changing a setting become tiny English lessons. You have to understand the command words.
It forces interaction, no escape.
Exactly. Mild pressure, maximum retention. And writing your routine or trying to think in English, that's about shifting the internal operating system.
What do you mean operating system?
Well, instead of thinking in your native language and then translating, you start trying to form the thoughts directly in English. Even simple stuff like,
Like, I'm hungry. I need food, instead of thinking it in my language first.
yes, that internal monologue. Even if it's broken English at first, you're activating the whole structure you learned in steps 1 and 2. You're making English the language your brain is using, not just studying.
That feels like a major leap, connecting all the dots.
It is. It ensures the language stays switched on all day, not just for 30 minutes of practice. And that constant activation, that consistency, well, that's the final piece.
Step 6, the foundation for everything else.
Absolutely. It's all about the mindset, consistency and confidence. And the absolute core mandate here is simple. Practice daily.
No days off, even if it's just a little bit.
Especially if it's just a little bit. If we connect this to the bigger picture, the guide is essentially saying 5 focus minutes every single day beats a 3-hour cram session once a week, hands down.
It's about the rhythm, the habit.
Totally. It's about small, relentless steps forward, not giant leaps. And tied to that consistency is the confidence piece.
Letting go of perfectionists.
Yes. The guide specifically tells you, don't worry about being perfect. It directly addresses that pressure we all feel. The whole point of these 6 steps is to build a sustainable habit.
So if you just show up every day, speak a little, use the phone, think a simple thought in English.
Progress is basically inevitable. It's baked into the process. It shifts the focus from scary performance to a simple, achievable daily routine.
Okay, so what does this all mean for you, the listener, trying to get a handle on English without drowning in information?
Well, it means there's a clear path. We've basically boiled down this huge task into 6 manageable steps.
Let's recap that structure again quickly.
Sure, you start with foundational knowledge, that's steps 1 and 2, essential words, simple grammar, build your toolkit.
Right, then?
Then daily input, step 3. Listen every day, and crucially, repeat what you hear. Tune your ear and your mouth.
Got it. And then finally,
Active use steps 4 and 5. Practice speaking, even to yourself. Don't fear mistakes, and weave English into your daily life. Change the phone, think the thoughts.
and underpinning it all is step 6, the mindset. Practice daily, Don't stress about perfection.
Exactly. It's a framework for cutting through complexity, not cutting corners on actual learning.
It really does feel like a practical shortcut to getting functional fast.
It does. And maybe here's a final thought for you to chew on based on all this. The guide puts a lot of weight on forcing that daily interaction, changing the phone, thinking in English. So consider this. Which of these 6 steps feels like the biggest hurdle for you personally? Is it an external action, like remembering to listen to a podcast every day? Or is it that internal shift, that deliberate effort to actually try and think in English?
That's a tough one. The internal stuff feels harder somehow.
Maybe. Something to think about. But the key takeaway is don't try to do it all at once. Pick just one new habit from this list, maybe repeating phrases from a video or just labeling objects around you in English in your head. Start there. Start that consistent, simple process today. That alone is progress.